Over the past year, I've dumped around $30,000 into testing pretty much every AI tool out there for my businesses. And trust me, I've seen it all. And coming from someone who runs 2 7-figure YouTube channels, I recently tried making a video completely with AI. And I'm gonna give you my no BS thoughts on which AI tools are good and which ones aren't. And I'm gonna take you through the entire content creation process step by step and tell you which parts of that process can be done by AI, either fully or partially, from generating video ideas all the way to video editing. And I'll show you which paid tools are actually worth it and which free ones crush the competition. And I'm gonna show you examples and demonstrations from the video that we tried creating with AI. But before that, let's go over each part of the video creation process and what tools you can use for it. All right, so first we've got video idea, right? So I use the icon method for this. I've gone over on the channel exactly how to do that. Then you've got scripting, title, and thumbnail idea. Then you've got thumbnail generation. Then you've got trimming and editing. Then you've got audio enhancement, and then eye contact to camera. And if you're not sure what that is, we'll tell you shortly. Basically, it's a way of making sure that you always have eye contact on the actual camera, even if you're not looking at it. Then there's adding B-roll and adding captions. And let's go ahead and start with the video idea part. So we use the icon method, where the simplest way of explaining this is we find bad videos or mediocre videos from small channels that did extremely well, and then we steal the idea from those videos and nothing else. And there are several different ways that we can use AI to help us with this. So first place for this was actually DeepSeek or ChatGPT. So DeepSeek would be the free version. Word on the street is DeepSeek actually kind of just stole all of OpenAI's data, and it's just a much cheaper version of OpenAI. So if that is true, then that means, you could probably just use it and it's a lot cheaper and it's essentially going to get the same output. With that being said, for the paid version, the pro version of ChatGPT, which is $200 a month, is going to do the best when it comes to helping you come up with video ideas. It is the best overall at data analysis and reasoning. So you can either dump a bunch of videos that did extremely well from competitors into one of these and then ask it to come up with other video ideas that you can make, or you can actually take your own videos and just pick the most popular ones or the ones that got the most views or made the most sales, put that data into these and then ask it to come up with other video ideas. And these are going to be the ones that do the best job. Now, second place when it comes to video ideation was Claude. Claude is paid. We gave DeepSeek free and ChatGPT Pro a 9 out of 10. Claude got an 8 out of 10. And then ChatGPT, the free version, got a 3 out of 10. It wasn't that good. All right, second is the scripting, title, and thumbnail idea. Now, this is what I like to do all of this at the same time. I basically come up with the title, thumbnail, and the intro at the same time. We also added scripting in here because it was essentially the same in terms of the testing. But the one that won by an absolute mile here is Claude, the paid version. This is 9 out of 10. It is exceptionally good at script writing, for instance. And it's really the best one for writing without sounding like a robot. A note here is it is still better if there is some human input, as well as really good prompts. That's what we use. So there is quality control, there is prompting, and it really depends on what type of content you're trying to make. Now the cons here is it does require the pro version if you write in batches. And a lot of the time you will have to prompt it several times just to get a single script, because it doesn't allow you to do the entire script in one prompt. Second best was DeepSeek at 6 out of 10. And you could probably add ChatGPT in there as well because it's essentially the same thing. And then Perplexity at 5 out of 10. And one that I'm actually going to add in here is if you're making news style content, I'm going to give like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 to Grok. Okay. So most people don't make news style content, but Grok is the absolute best for news style content. So I'm going to put that in there. Next is the thumbnail generator. And honestly, nothing here was that good. The one that was the best was Pixels. We gave it a 7 out of 10, and it does generate a clean thumbnail if you specify the prompt, but it doesn't work well with faces on the thumbnail, and it has watermark. And generally speaking, a lot of the people we work with are personal brands, so they are going to put their face on the thumbnail. And so that's a big problem if it doesn't work well with that. But we did get it a 7 out of 10 because it's starting to get there, but the other ones were honestly terrible. So Ideogram was awful, and Leonardo was awful as well. Then moving on, we've got trimming, and this is basically just editing out the silences. So Clipchamp, this was the free version. We actually gave it a 7 out of 10. This one was the best in seamlessness. It's close to what an editor can do. Plus it's free for 720p. And the cons here is it can't detect retakes and it only cuts out silences. Then we had Veed.io, and it tries to poorly cut out retakes. So if you make any mistakes, both of these are kind of gonna mess up, big time. You're gonna need an editor to identify when you actually make mistakes. Now, to be honest with you, I think it's a little surprising that these aren't able to actually cut out the right parts, because whenever I make a mistake, I just say, cut that part, okay? I say, cut that part. And the video editor is probably very confused right now because they actually look at the waveform. But in this case, I'm actually going to leave it in. But that's how I always let my video editors know to take that part out. And I'm kind of surprised that the AI isn't smart enough to do that. I'm also kind of surprised that whoever made this didn't make a feature where you can maybe say some type of code word or something along those lines when you mess up to let the AI know that that part is a mistake. That will probably be coming down the line, but they're not quite there yet. So yeah, Clipchamp, that was the best one, 7 out of 10. Veed.io, 6 out of 10. And then Descript was 4 out of 10. But honestly, none of them are good enough, and there's gonna be some awkward edits in your videos if you use any of these. So I still don't think it's good enough. All right, so next is audio enhancement. And this is one where it is actually relatively good. So we use Adobe Podcast, and if you have relatively mediocre audio, this can take your audio from mediocre to good. And if you have good audio, it can take your audio from kind of like good to great. But if you have terrible audio, unfortunately, it's not going to be able to rescue it. But with that being said, it's still really good. Like, we're going to give it an 8 out of 10. And when it does make your audio, let's just say from mediocre to good, it is a little bit bassy, but you can actually pay to adjust the bass. And yeah, it doesn't sound perfect. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it makes it to where it is good enough to where people are not going to click off your video. CapCut, we gave about a 6 out of 10. It's not that great. Sounds a little too robotic. And then Veed, we give a 4 out of 10. Next is the eye contact to camera AI. And there's actually a couple different pretty good options for this. Now, the reason that we rated them a little bit lower, Veed and Descript are both actually quite good. Descript actually costs money. Veed is very cheap. It's like 4 times less. But the reason that we gave this a little bit of a lower rating is you can't just click, fix eye contact. So basically, the way this works is, right now I'm making eye contact with the camera. Right now I'm looking to the side, but with Descript and with Veed, it can actually make it look like I'm actually making eye contact with the camera. Now, this is extremely useful. The problem is, if you just do this in your entire video, you're gonna look like an absolute robot demon that is just staring into the soul of your viewer the entire time. And it's not gonna look good, right? Naturally, people will kind of look away from the camera if that's how you just normally look if you're talking to another human being, or even if you're just talking to the camera. But if you use these, you're just going to stare into the depths of their soul the whole time, and it's just gonna look really weird. And also, it just kind of gives you like a doll type of look, like it's just fake or like AI. However, what you can do here is the times when you accidentally look at something, and if it doesn't look good, you can use these at that specific time to make your eyes look at the camera, right? So if you accidentally have wandering eyes and I don't know, for whatever reason, you're just looking around and it makes it look like you're looking at a script or whatever, you can actually just correct just that part, and it's super useful. So for that, I would give these like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. But if you're just using it on the clip as a whole, it doesn't look very good. I'll give it like a 7 or a 6 out of 10. And then you've got adding B-roll. So this is just not good in general. The best one is Opus Clip, but honestly, it's still not that good. 5 out of 10. In video is a 4 out of 10. Yeah, just not good. B-roll AI is terrible at adding B-roll right now. And then adding captions, Descript Pro here is awesome. Descript in general is just a pretty good video editor, especially for beginners. We really like CapCut and Descript, generally speaking, for video editing for beginners. And this one is about $39 a month. And it has a lot of other really good features like auto trim and eye contact that can just save you a little bit of time when it comes to video editing. Opus Clip came in second here at 7 out of 10. And then CapCut Pro came in third at 3 out of 10, which is kind of surprising. Descript is significantly better at adding captions. So with all of that being said, let's talk about the best route to using AI to create an entire video. So number one, video ideation. DeepSeek is free. You can also use the paid version of ChatGPT, so ChatGPT Pro. Those two are going to be the best when it comes to video ideation right now, with the exception of using Grok if you're making new style content. Scripting, title, and thumbnail idea, Claude is the best by a mile. And honestly, 9 out of 10 might be too low. Like when it comes to script writing, Claude is the best. It's just really amazing. With that being said, you still need to have good prompts and you need to have some good human intervention with it. Then you've got thumbnail generation. And honestly, you probably just need to do this yourself. But with that being said, Pixels is the best one. We'll give it a 7 out of 10. And here's an example of a thumbnail we made. It does have a watermark because we have the free version. And then next is trimming or editing out silences. Clipchamp is the best for this one. Then you got audio enhancement. I really like this one, Adobe Podcast, absolutely phenomenal. And then at this part, asking you a question, do you use a teleprompter? If yes, then skip. If no, eye contact to camera AI, because if you're using a teleprompter, in many cases, your eyes might wander a little bit, or maybe you have a script off to the side and you might accidentally look at the script. And in that case, you probably want AI to make it seem like you're still looking at the camera. But again, you need to be very careful about how you do this. You don't want to do it with the entire clip. You want to just pick those moments where your eyes wander and then use Descript for that. And then for adding B-roll, don't. But if you insist on doing it, Opus is the best. And for adding captions, Descript Pro is awesome. And you can also use the eye contact feature for this as well. So the total cost per month with all of these combined is going to be $104 a month. And then if you choose not to use Opus, it would be about $89 a month. So yeah, when it comes to making a video purely with AI, unfortunately, despite what all of the YouTube automation faceless gurus tell you, you definitely can't do it. At least the final product is going to be an absolute piece of crap if you only use AI. With that being said, there are parts of the video creation process that you can absolutely use AI with. And if there was only one tool you were going to use in this entire process, it would be Claude by a mile. Claude is by far the most useful tool by a mile. I would say the second most useful one is probably Descript. So Claude is first, then Descript is second. And then probably ChatGPT Pro would be the third best one because it's going to be best for kind of reasoning and ideation. Now, there are a lot of companies out there that kind of claim that they use AI, but it's essentially just a software that maybe adds a tiny little AI to the end of it. And I'm not counting those in this video. An example of that would be vidIQ. I love vidIQ for video ideation, and they say that they're using AI because that's what every company says. It's part of their marketing, but I don't really think they actually use that much AI. And even if they do, it's just an API that's probably connected to Claude or something. And then additionally, there's a really cool tool that I've been using lately called Poppy AI. And you can actually use it with Claude, and it's a kind of a visual version of Claude where it's almost like a Miro board or a flowchart, but you get to connect it to Claude. And it's definitely not necessary. It's also extremely expensive, but I have been enjoying using Poppy AI. And to people who are not price sensitive, you don't really care about the price, I would definitely recommend looking into it. But yeah, when it comes to video creation, those are by far the most useful ones. This definitely saves my team hundreds and hundreds of hours every single month, and it allows us to make better videos. So this isn't just making cheap, crappy content. This has actually allowed us to upgrade our content and make our content quite a bit better than it was before. Now, if you want to learn how to use these tools to run a YouTube business, to create content, and you want to skip the hundreds or thousands of hours of learning and just basically figure out how to do it all at once with templates, automations, instructions, and feedback, then go ahead and book a call with me down in the description and the pinned comment below, because that's exactly what we teach people how to do. We've helped 17 businesses get to 7 figures on YouTube, and over 5 businesses even get to 8 figures. And if you want to check out exactly how we did this, I also made a video talking about how we got to 100K per month on YouTube, which you can check out by clicking right here.